Hello everyone. I ordered this MP3 media player, and when I opened it up, I realized it was not what they promised in the listing. So either it was a bait and switch or somebody just mistakenly sent me the wrong product. So I mentioned to them to get a return. I got a refund and they did not want this back. So I was testing it for the past week or so and found quite a few issues with it. And in any case, but for the right price, it might have some redeeming qualities, but definitely not what I had paid for, because I had an intention of getting one of those Android-based players with a little Android OS in there that you could download apps and Wi-Fi connectivity and everything, but this has none of that. So let's open it up and have a look, and they're gonna go over some of the idiosyncrasies of this device, and could be various variations out there of this, but we'll have a look at what this particular model does. Okay, so let's start off first with this box. I did play around with this for about a week or so, but I put it back in the box here just to show you how it comes with all this stuff. We're gonna go over it, and it doesn't really say the brand at all. One big giveaway, because what I ordered was a brand named MP3 Android player. Says Songbird, full sound, whatever, just a bunch of marketing stuff here. You've got MP3 playback, WMA, Wave, APE, and FLAC, okay? And it talks about system requirements and so on. But this will mount as a drive basically on any system. It's just a USB device with storage. It doesn't mention anything here about video, although there is support for video, which we'll get into later. But that's the music format, okay? Let's have a look and see what's here. So this is the device. Now, it does come with some protective screen stuff here. I didn't have a chance to remove it, and to be honest, it starts to get really dusty. This is about a week worth of use. So let's do the honors and cue up the music, and we'll peel off this back layer, which we don't need. Here we go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay, and the outside here, which is also, I believe, a screen. It just comes with from the factory, but it's useless. As you can see, it gets very bubbly and scummy after not very long use and full of dust. So let's remove this as well. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's the device. Okay, it's MP3 digital player, input 5 volts, 500 mAh. So you're gonna charge this on basically with using this little charging cable they give you on one of these older USB type chargers. But the input itself is USB-C. Okay, we have audio here, jack, that's the USB. This side has a power button on the top and the volume below. And this is important because other devices on the internet that look similar have the volume button up here and the power button below. These are swapped. You'll also notice there's an SD card slot up here, micro SD. Other devices on the internet have it down here. And same goes for the bottom. Sometimes the phono jack is more to the center. So they change around the position of these. This also has a microphone input right there. The top has a quality sticker just to show you how good the quality of this thing is. I might leave that alone. I don't know what that is. There's a little Bluetooth thing actually on it. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe not a quality sticker, something to do with Bluetooth. In any case, and there's a little tiny round circle, your button. This is touchscreen, but it feels kind of heavy. To be honest, it feels heavier than it should be. And it's not because there's a huge hefty battery in here. I'm pretty sure that's not what's causing the weight. Sometimes they fill these things up with lead to make them feel heavier, like they've got more oomph to it, because this feels quite dense. I'm sure there's some fake weights in here. Okay, so you see power, plus, minus for volume. That says USB, that's labeled headphones. And this card slot, interestingly enough, is printed backwards. I'm going to show you. It does come with 128, or so they claim, gigabyte SD card. But notice that it's in this way. And the picture shows this way. So you might be misled to think you're supposed to insert it like this, but that does not work. This is the SD card. If we zoom in here, okay, MMSZ12RGU3R, I don't know what that is, made in Taiwan, some numbers there. If you flip it over, sorry about my fingernails, it says micro or MICTG PXC1 128 gigabyte. This is all basically, it says what, 10? Is that the speed? It's definitely not that speed. I'll tell you why later. I did try to use it on a computer and it's terrible. But whatever this is, it's formatted to Win95 FAT32 LBA because of the size, but you can't actually consistently copy to this thing in a card reader. You have to use this device to copy. So you have to hook this up to your computer to let you transfer stuff reliably to this card. If you try to bypass this device and put this card directly into your computer using a micro SD adapter or whatever, you're gonna have read-write errors very quickly and you won't be able to copy to this thing at all. It's a complete struggle. I've tried it on Windows, Linux, it doesn't matter what system, it has problems with input-output errors on this card. So there's either this card has some weird quirk in it that they managed to fix with this firmware in here to let it work with it, or they purposefully do something to it to disable it for use. Otherwise, I'm not sure, but that's the case. So we're gonna put this in, but it's gonna be backwards to the picture, okay? And get it in there, hopefully. Give me a second. It is quite recessed in here, so you have to push it in there for it to click, okay? All right, what else comes in here? Since I now have this stuff off the screen, I'm gonna put in this protective case. So it's got a hole for the speaker here. It goes in like so, and like so. I'm not a huge fan of this color, to be honest. If it was black, I'd like it better. This just looks weird, but I guess it works. And, you know, fine, I'll take it for now. But that's the little case it comes with. There's a couple of holes there. I don't know why. Maybe it's built for another system. There's a hole for the card and the microphone, and all the other holes are pretty much lined up where they should be, okay? We have USB-C cable, some headphones that look surprisingly like iPhone headset, the old type, okay? I don't know, there's nothing on here otherwise. You know, the old iPhone headsets have a volume up-down control on them, but this thing does not use that. I tried my actual iPhone headset and there's nothing that will activate. It's nice and convenient. If this is in your pocket and you want to increase the volume or pause it or whatever, there used to be a little switch on the side of one of the headsets here. Then you'd flip up and down on the old iPhone headset, but this does not have that, okay? And then finally, looking through the manual, let's just go to this picture here. First of all, it is called the User Manual S301, Appearance and Buttons. And as you can see, as I mentioned before, this is not it. You have volume up and down at the top here and a screen save switch at the bottom, and this is backwards, okay? Notice also the USB and headphone port are swapped. This device has it at the ends here, and here in this picture, it shows it in the middle and on the side there, and also shows the SD card reader as being down at the bottom and it's at the top. So I don't know where they get this manual from, but it's definitely not for this device. They've completely changed a lot of these different positions of everything. Okay, so user manual S301, which is not the same layout as this device. Touch to enter the menu. Okay, USB IN interface, headphone hole, screensaver volume up. It's pretty obvious. Action, basic operation, short press, long press, press on, battery is low, connect to PC. What do we have here? Main interface. That's going to be the main interface that you see here. You've got some various apps, so to speak. Definitely not Android OS, which is the first giveaway. As soon as I turned this thing on, I realized this is not Android. And there's no Wi-Fi capability, and it just has these rudimentary apps, which are kind of like, you know, just let you do very basic things. Kind of like an MP3 player from, I don't know, 5-10 years ago even. Nothing really modern on it. And that's because the chip in this thing is extremely weak, which we'll find out later. So definitely this is not how it looks. And this is not how the menu interface looks like. It doesn't have these little icons necessarily. So you're gonna see it differs. You've got what looks like album covers showing up here, and that is true, but it does not actually read the album covers from the files, the MP3 files embedded in themselves there. It actually will play or will show an album cover only if it's formatted a certain way and sitting in a folder together with the file. It has to be named cover.jpg or album or folder.jpg, something like that. It does not read the album covers from the MP3 files themselves. Music submenus, video. So it does mention video here, but it does not say that on the box anywhere. You can record audio, and you can record either from the microphone input or from FM radio, which this thing has. No AM though. And it lets you see photos. Ebook is a joke. It's not really ebook. It basically lets you look at text files. It is not going to load up any PDFs or any kind of ebook formats at all. It's a text file viewer. Folder view, tool, just has a few tools we'll review. Setup, Bluetooth. It does have Bluetooth. It does work. It's a little tricky using it, as you'll find out when we get into it. And this learn thing is a complete joke. Very, very useless, which I'll show you. Tractor parameter. That's really interesting because I didn't buy a tractor. I bought an MP3 player, but tractor parameter, model ATJ2127. Now, I don't even know if that's real, to be honest, at this point, because I don't think this is the same manual as this device, but ATJ2127 screen size, it is a 2.5 inch TFT, which is another issue. You'll find that this contrast on this thing is terrible. 320 by 240 pixel. It supports these various audio file types. It does mention support file type for AMV, AVI, requires transformation tool support. What that basically means is you need something like ffmpeg or another utility to convert some of your videos over. AMV is extremely old format used by very cheap low-end players because it doesn't require a lot of processing power to decompress. The problem is it takes up a huge amount of room, and even at 320 by 240, it's like way bigger than it should be, and it's mono. It does not have stereo audio. And the AVI is not really AVI. AVI is just a container for video, so you still have to format your video as an AMV file, even though it's contained in an AVI. Yeah, it doesn't support other codecs at all. JPEG, PNG, yeah, see, support for ebook file types, text file. That's it. It's not gonna format it, it's just gonna be text. Receive support, alarm, blah, 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 and so on. Weight, 80 grams. I don't know about that, I'll have to check, but, and system requirements, like I said, it works on Windows, but definitely also on Linux, which I use to load this thing up on. Okay, to turn it on, you press this button. Welcome. And there it goes. Okay, we're in the thing. So you've got settings here, music, video, ebook, recording, tools, folders, Bluetooth, theme, and studying. And I have the screen setting mode. Let me just change it because it's gonna turn off. Display settings, you see what I mean? Display settings, backlight timer. Let's go always on because I don't want it to go off there. Okay, so let's start with clicking there. I set the time, by the way. That's why it shows Thursday, 9:04, 10:30, whatever. Okay, language. You can choose language. Now, as far as scrolling up and down, first of all, just look at the screen. Notice the bottom here is like lighter color and it's dark. That's not real. That's because this thing, when you bend it like this, it really changes. Like that's the color there. And then if you look at it from this, look at how it gets darker and there. And it gets to the point where you'll see like it inverts the color. Like here, the background is lighter, it seems, than the word English here. And when you do that, see, the background becomes dark and it says English. So you can't really watch a video, like even from this distance, when you be watching a little video on here, notice how the ends invert, like it's terrible, just terrible. As far as the switching through things, you have to slide up like this. So that's the way to find stuff. Okay, I better go back to English here because there. Okay, speak switch. I've never really figured that out. I think it's to have it talk because there's a dictionary and it'll talk the word. Display settings we already saw. You can change the brightness. So you go up and down like this. Okay. You can still see that it's changing the color as you turn it. And then as far as brightness up goes, you can go up to a level of 11. I don't know how they get this number from 0 to 11, but that's what it is. Let's go back down to, see, I didn't touch anything and it said it. I guess, display, no. Display, brightness, I guess if you press the middle, no, see? So how did I do it? I didn't press OK. Okay, brightness set. It's a little, the thing has some weird responses. Okay, we already saw the brightness timer. Screensaver, it just means when you turn it off, it either goes to a clock or none. None right now, it just goes blank. If I do digital clock, and watch, go back out, and I turn it off by pressing this, there. It'll stay on a little clock like that. You can't change this, okay? So off, if you turn it on the first time, it goes to here. And then you click that. Okay, let's change that back to none. Okay. Power saving shutdown, so you can tell it how long to wait. Again, you can flip up and down. I don't know, no, just one thing here. Okay, so 3 minutes. Power saving 3 minutes. Sleep timer. So this is useful because you can hit sleep timer and then go up and down and hit OK. And whatever is happening on this device, whether it be playing a video or music, or whatever, it'll shut off after a certain time so that you can, put yourself to sleep, listening to something. Date and time, that's pretty easy. Date and time settings. And then we have, if I flip up, see, you don't know if you have extra things on the menu necessarily, but it does say 7 out of 9 here. So that gives you a hint. Sorry. So yeah, that's 7, 8, 9. Information, it brings us another page with information and disk space. So that's the model for all of you interested. And it only stays on for a bit and then goes off, okay, by itself. Disk space tells you how much you have on your SD card. It's going to read it, and it's calculating. I hope it doesn't. Okay, there. I loaded it up because I wanted to check whether this SD card was real or faked. But it did hold music. I mean, you can see it's using up about 120 Wait, hold on a second. It has free space. It doesn't free space 120, total space 5. I don't know what that means. It does not have 120 gig free. It's full. This is completely wrong. Free space should be, it's backwards. It's essentially backwards. That thing there should say total space, and that the bottom part is free space. So that's backwards. Okay, internal memory doesn't even stay up on the screen. Come on. See, that one shows properly because, okay, so yeah, I don't know. It's really terrible. Okay, information, hold on, we had one more here. Format device and factory settings, I don't want to do. Okay, all right, let's have a look at tools. You've got a calendar, and that's basically it. You can't do anything with this calendar. It just shows you the calendar. I don't think you can advance dates. I tried to go, if I want to go up and down to look at different, dates. I can't slide up, down. I can't go sideways. I mean, hold on. Let's see if the volume button does anything. Nope, that's just volume. So this calendar basically just shows you the current date. Current month. Useless otherwise. You can't even go through things. Stopwatch happens to be in Chinese. Even though I set the language to English, it doesn't change the stopwatch language, but it does stay stopwatch there, but for some reason these buttons don't. So I'm gonna assume this is to start, and you can see it starts. And see that's counting. And then this might be a lap timer here, see? And the lap timer, how many lap timers can you do? It just alternates between the 3. And then if you wanna stop it, you go like that. And I guess that's it. So you start, stop. And that shows you the minutes in the middle here. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I hope that's accurate. It does feel a bit fast, but I'm sure it's fine. Alarm is actually useful because you can set on and off the alarm, the time, alarm cycle, so you can have it go once daily. I don't know what day and daily differs. Honestly, I don't know. Alarm music means that you can tell it to play a certain thing. So you can choose what you want to play, which is a good idea. Funny thing is they have music on SD card, which doesn't do anything. But the music on SD card here does something. It takes you to your folders. Music MP3 player takes you to the local folder on the actual device. Okay. Alarm volume, and the bottom is empty. So a few more, they have a calculator. Okay. Just the basic, 4-banger here. Nothing really exciting. Division, multiplication, whatever. It doesn't do anything else. And there's no back button. You have to just assume that clicking up here takes you back. Because if I click there, it doesn't. And over here, it doesn't. So the arrow is missing. Great. Photo shows you photos. Do I have any photos here? Test. Did I put something in there? Nope. I have no idea. Okay, let's go back. What else? Theme? Oh, wait. FM radio. Here we go. Stations. I've got stations. Manual tune. Oop. Let's go back. FM recording. At least you can record something. And so if you're playing music, auto tune. Do you want to update? No. Stations. Okay, let's go to 91.1. Okay, it's playing 91.1. There's no, you can't hear anything at the moment because there's nothing plugged into here, and you need that for the antenna function. So you're not going to hear anything. But when you're in the radio mode, you can go start FM recording and it'll save it. It'll start recording it. Okay, so let's go back. You can forward to a different station by holding this button down, and it'll kind of like move ahead, see? Now it's not doing anything now because I don't have headset jack in here. Backwards doesn't really work. They implemented forward, but if you try to go back, look, nothing. Forward kind of sucks also. Okay, it is advancing forward, you see? And then it jumps to that, and then I go back, barely works. I don't know if it's the touchscreen issue or just the way they implemented this thing, but you know, it randomly does stuff which, you know, it jumps to things that you don't want it to do. Okay? But it's very, and then play. I don't know. It's really, the play I think jumps you to each preset. And then this is supposed to take you back, but again, it's not really working. See? And then it jumps to here. Clear radio, close, yes, close radio engine. Okay, so that is under tools. Okay, so we saw everything that was in tools. Then we're gonna go to folder. And this lets you go into the folders, okay? So local folder, and we have card folder. Let's go to the local folder. I did some test things here. This is Nasty Girls video. It's an old music video off YouTube, and I tried it at different frame rates. You have 192 resolution, 256, 320 by 240 is this one. At 30, whoops, how do I get back? There we go. At 30 frames per second. So let's watch what happens when we do 320 by 30. Is it working? First of all, it goes into landscape mode. Turn up the volume here. Hopefully it doesn't, that's it there. Okay. So you can see what I mean about the view. Like, look, if you're turning it just a tiny bit, it basically is showing very, very bad contrast there. Let me pause it. Okay. So when you're looking at this thing, even from a normal distance, one eye is going to see this almost inverted, and the other side is going to see this. You know, it's terrible, terrible, terrible viewing quality. They could have made the display like this. At least, you know, when you go this way, you don't have that problem. They could have aligned somehow inside, turned it this way, whatever is going on that causes that effect, because this works. But as soon as you go into landscape mode, you've got that weirdness happening. As far as fast forwarding it, you can fast forward by holding this. Maybe when it's playing. Watch. See? You do that. Okay. Yeah, it's an old video. Okay. The resolution is terrible, but again, you can see it's going into invert mode there as soon as you turn it. You do have a button up here which lets you repeat, delete video, or create playlist, which never quite work. The playlist functions on this thing don't do a thing. Okay, I'll turn that off just in case YouTube matches it. So I tried various resolutions, and the biggest one was 640 by 30, at 30 frames a second. 640 by 480 at 30 frames a second. By the way, the display is 4:3 ratio. And watch. It is able to play, but it barely moves. The audio, if you notice, is extremely slow. Okay, here, let's fast forward it. Okay, it does fast forward. We'll get to the part of the video where they're dancing. Okay. It is noticeably slower, and the sound is distorted. Listen. It can't keep up with the ratio, with the frame. You see, it can't keep up. So your best bet is to have it at the low resolution. Okay. Card folder. We have video here. Yeah, here's another one. What did I do here? We tried here 320 by 30. That's another one. Oh, that we already saw that one. Hurry. Hold on a second. Miami here. This one, I think, was it. Okay, this is another video. This is off YouTube. It's some kind of a new retro music. We'll fast forward it. Okay. Oh, which, by the way, you cannot, let me pause it. You cannot slide this thing over. Because of this, the type of format this is, sorry, because of this type of format, you can't jump to any point in the video. So if you want to watch a movie on this thing, and let's say you get out, if yes, it'll resume, watch, I can go out, and then click it again, and it'll resume. So it does keep track of where you are, but if you for some reason rewind it by accident, like that, is it going back even? No, the rewind basically does not work. Hello, no, fast forward. Oh, let me put play. Play. Okay, now it's dead. Great. Get back. See, this is what I mean about this device. It's just like frustrating. I don't know what's going on. It's just stuck. Is it? Okay, I'm gonna hold down this button and reset it maybe. Oh, okay, what just happened there? Okay, yeah, it just jumped. I held down this button and it jumped. I don't know. Maybe it was trying to queue up another video, okay, from somewhere. It's just unpredictable, completely unpredictable. Okay, music. Okay, so now we've done folders. That just lets you go through whatever folder structure you created and play stuff yourself. You've got Bluetooth. Please wait. This always takes forever. You can turn it on and off, search for a device and my devices. Pretty straightforward, although it's not very sensitive. So unless you have something right next to the device, it's not gonna pick it up. Theme is just changing the colors. You got three options. This thing and whatever that is. And then you're back to this. And notice down here, it says studying and a bunch of whatever. And then it changes to Dylan Thomas and then Dylan Thomas. And you have a little variation on the style here. You know, there's like a little charging bolt there. There's a little thing. Yeah, I think that's how much battery power you have left. Okay. Studying is funny because this is the most useless part of this device I've seen. You have a dictionary, which I don't see Babel. I can't even click it, but I can type Babel, B-A, and it gives you a few suggestions here. B-B-L-E, and then you hit OK, I guess. Babel, and then I can't understand a thing. She always something about trifles, and then VT, and then N. And it's all gibberish. That's not any language I know. But you can listen to the sound. Add succeed. Okay, I think that's, I don't want that. I want this one. BT is open. App will close BT engine. I don't even know what that means. I've never heard that. Okay, fine. Okay, here we go. Try again. Okay, so it will say stuff. Let's try baboon. Baboon. Oops. Baboon. No. Boon. Okay, baboon. Absolutely nothing there useful. Okay, it'll say it. All right, and then vocabulary notebook, I guess those are the things we added. I had golf in here. So yeah, when you put this, when you hit this check mark, it adds it to that other thing. So here's the definition for golf. a bunch of gibberish, DOM, air, whatever, and then you go up, or not. I guess that's one page. Come on.
No.
It says golf. Okay. Let's try here. Back to dictionary. Oops. We'll try China. At least that might have a good entry in it. China. Okay. China. Something, something, noun. The People's Republic of. A bunch of nonsense, gibberish, east, north, and then more gibberish. Then it says Council for the Promotion of International Trade. And a bunch of gibberish from something to Peru. So, yeah, I you know, doesn't make sense. Let's try Taiwan. Probably not going to be in here. Although that SD card is made in Taiwan. So that's interesting. Taiwan doesn't exist. Okay. Does any other country exist? United, whoops. U.S. Oh no. Okay. U.S. Obviously not, because it's not there. Okay, let's try United. Oh, could be United. Sorry, this is really infuriating. United. Well, United. Something, blah, blah, blah. Break into a laugh. A front, make an effort. Something.
United.
Well, at least it says the word properly. Anyway, like I said, this dictionary is a joke. It's completely useless, and the definitions don't make any sense, and the language isn't good. Okay, we're going to continue on with this section here, music, video, ebook, and recording. Okay. One thing I just realized is that with this cover, I can't use my little reset button here. You see that little thing here? That actually takes you back. So if I'm in, let's say, music, and I want to get back to the main menu, I usually press this guy. But with this button covered, what's the point? I mean, I have to make a cutout here. What's this? I can't use this anymore. I use this to kind of get back to the beginning. So it's, yeah, this case is a fail too, at least with respect to this little round button here. Okay, so finally, this section here, music. It just shows you all your create list or not, no. Okay, I don't know, we have a bunch of different stuff here. Let's see.
I've got something to say.
Okay, I don't know if this is gonna copyright match.
I've got something to show.
Back to home. Hey, come on, now playing. There, okay. Obviously, no cover art, even though this music does have something in it. If you click that, you can change the play mode to repeat or shuffle, repeat settings, repeat mode. Okay, I don't know what that means. Repeat times, replay interval. Okay, not sure. Sound settings. Okay, at least this is useful. You have an equalizer where you can choose between rock, funk, hip hop, jazz, classical, techno, off, rock, funk, okay, and classical, techno. Okay. You have variable speed playback, so you can make it go faster or slower. Delete at the playlist does not work. I've tried this. Join any. Okay, yeah, it does not work very well. Let me go back to some song here. Here. And change the speed. Sound settings. Okay, make it faster. Okay, it goes up to 8 here.
What were the skies like when you were young? They went on forever
you can see.
Skies always had little fluffy clouds. They were clear.
And I'm gonna make it.
When it would rain, they were
That's now we're gonna slow it down.
the sunsets were purple and red and yellow on fire. The clouds all touched.
That's normal. Okay, now it's slower. Oops.
Because I used to look at them all the time when I was little. You don't see that.
Now it's slow. That's -8. So it doesn't change the, you'll notice it doesn't change the pitch. It just slows it down. Okay, now we'll go faster. Okay, so that's not a bad idea. Actually, I like that. Let's pause this thing. All right, I think this is to repeat it, but it doesn't work. If you click on it, it doesn't do anything. Oh, 1, here we go. I don't know, shuffle. 1, shuffle, and repeat. Again, the slider here does nothing. If you try to slide it forward or back, you can't, it doesn't move. So you're unable to track. You can only hit play. You can fast forward. So I can hold this down while it's in play mode. Maybe. No. Yeah, these controls are terrible. Can I slide it forward like I did in video? Yeah, if you hold it down. Sorry. Yeah, they're not good. They're very sketchy. All of these controls are sketchy. Okay. Okay. The problem is I went into music. Sorry, music. If you go to a card folder, actually, great list or not? No, I don't want that. Card folder. Oh, I know what it is. When you play, okay, so this thing, essentially, you have directory file, and I don't know what that is. Oh, by the way, here, let's go back to info. This is the text file, essentially. That's your card, your PDF reader, or whatever it is, ebook reader. Okay, go back. Artists. These are artists. So it does filter through all the MP3s and put them in as artists so you can listen to certain things. Albums. These are different albums that it came up with automatically. Every time you eject the device from every time you eject this from your computer, the internal hardware will start to scan through your content and sort this out and create a database like an index file. So it takes a while. Genres. Okay, you can see here. It picks it up from the MP3 headers, probably the playlists. Okay. I see a whole bunch of playlists here, and I'm not sure where it came up with these things because I've tried to create my own playlists, and this thing, maybe it just scanned it from somewhere. And then, they don't work anyway, so why am I even bothering? I found that it creates playlists that don't actually do anything because these are not my playlists. They might have been in the folders when I dragged them in, but it won't detect anything. So what I end up doing is I really don't use the music part here at all because it's useless, because if I go to card folder, it just has every single file on my device. You can see 4,000 MP3s. I don't do that. So what I'll do is I'll go to folders, card folder. I'll pick music. I made that. And let's say I go here, it'll load up the card. You see that there is a file in this folder called cover.jpg. It didn't pick that up from the MP3 itself. All the MP3s in this folder have cover art embedded in them, but it's still, see, I had to click there. That folder artwork is what actually got picked up. If I didn't have that in there, it wouldn't display anything. That's another folder. Now it's going into some, yeah, it's just displaying different things. Let's go back. We've got video. Again, that just shows you all the video files. It's like music. Ebook is that thing with the text. There's not really much to see there. And then recording. Let's try recording here. The last function we're going to review. Start voice recording, recordings library, storage, record format, record settings. So if you go to recording library, that's one of the recordings I did. It creates a folder on here called FM record and recording, like voice record. So whatever you record from your FM, when you're recording FM radio, it'll put in that as an MP3. And whatever you record by voice, it'll put in in that other folder. You can change the format to MP3 or WAV, and you can change the settings here, the bit rate, 32, 64, 128, or 192. TARC, AVR mode, I don't even know what that is. Normal and AVR mode. Yeah, don't know. Storage. I think this is just telling you, asking where to store it. You want to put it on external memory. Okay, start voice recording. Please wait. Takes an awful long time. Okay, here we go. And it's actually recording already. It's not like you can start and stop it. It just, as soon as you hit that, it records. So testing, 1, 2, 3, speaking into the little mic port here, testing, and we'll hit stop. It looks like it does date it by the right date and time, which is good. I'm going to stop this. I hope that's the right time. And my watch is dead. Great. Hold on. There it is, 9:19. Well, that's obviously not right because that's 7:36. Does it know what time it is? Save recording, yes. Okay, and now let's hear it. Recordings library, card folder. There it is. All right, it's still set to fast. Okay, there's a quirk in this thing because I noticed that my setting speed for the music is still here. So let's go back to music because we're gonna have to, or I don't know, now playing, I guess, and get this thing last played. I don't know. No, this is not it. I don't want that. Music. Let's just open up something here. Sound settings. Variable speed. Okay. Okay, I gotta turn this thing down. It's gonna get... Come on. I don't want it to copyright match. Okay, there. I want to turn off the music, so I go to, well, you know what, let's just go to recording. It'll probably start recording library, card folder, here. Okay. Here we go. And it's actually recording already. It's not like you can start and stop it. It's just as soon as you hit that, it records. So testing, 1, 2, 3, speaking to the little mic port here, testing, and we'll hit stop. It looks like it does date it by the right. Okay, so a quirk in this device is that if you have your variable speed playback set in music, it is going to keep that in the rest of the device when you play back your other stuff. And the unfortunate thing is when you're in this mode and you try to change it, it doesn't let you. All you have is last played and delete modes, and there's no settings for anything else. So you have to go back to music to get to the menu where you change your variable speed playback. So it carries over to this, but yet you can't change it. So that's, again, another weirdness with this device. Okay, so yeah, that is a basic rundown of this very cheap MP3 player. It has a lot of quirks. Will it play music? Yes. Will it play video? Yes. the screen is terrible for video because, as you can see, in every mode of display that you use, 16:9 or 4:3 ratio, which is what this screen is, you're going to be viewing it this way, and one eye is going to see almost like an inverted image compared to the other eye, because it's just the angle, slight angle difference between the eyes, and you're going to have one, so it kind of feels weird, and it's just the screen characteristic. It does not happen when you have it in this direction, and they just should have made the screen in a way that had the whatever is going on go the opposite, 90 degrees, and they could have eliminated that effect, whatever it is, the polarization filter or the lines in there, I don't know, whatever it is that makes up the screen the way they designed it. This dictionary thing is useless. Tools are barely usable, although you can do at least FM radio recording is fine. All the other stuff is kind of not very featureful, I should say. Basic stuff. And the Bluetooth works, but barely. I wouldn't even try using music and video. I would just go to folders and just load up the folders that way directly and play them. When you try to copy stuff over to this, often the order of your files is wrong. So you have to be careful when you copy it. Don't copy folders completely, like one at a time. I do a folder and then copy files one at a time, or I use a copier that sorts them by file name, because if it copies it in, randomly, you're not going to have it sorted in your folder. You're going to go in here and you're basically going to see, I think it was one of these things, Taylor Swift maybe. Yeah, you see all the folder, the file names are in some weird random form, random order. The only way I got around that was because I just copied the folder over. To get around that, I had to create the folder when it's plugged in the computer, and then select all the files and then drag them over, and then it put them each one at a time, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you just drag a folder in, your computer might put it in some random order, and this is what it does. I can't sort that in here at all. And there's no playlist function that I could figure out on this device either. So recording, okay, rudimentary, but it works. And for, if you're paying maybe 10, 15, 20 bucks max for this thing, I get it. It might be worthwhile, but not compared to other players now that are, if there's like $40, $50, this is not a $40, $50 device. I'm sorry. It just does not compete with something of that price range. This should belong down in that $20 range, maybe even cheaper, 30 if you really want to stretch it, but not anywhere close to being more expensive than that. And even for the price, I mean, I got this thing now essentially for free because I was refunded my money because they sent me the wrong device. And even for free, honestly, I don't know if I want to carry it around with me every day. Yes, I'll play music on it and let it go, but it's just annoying to use. So other than just messing around with it for this video, just to try out all the different features and see what it does, it's just annoying. If they could fix up the user interface, it would help a lot. Even though it's extremely underpowered device with a very, very low-end chip that's pretty much doing everything in here all on one chip, that I could handle, to be honest, as long as it actually functioned properly and the menus and the interface was actually decent. But the menu and interface on this thing is just horribly wrong. Features that don't work, buttons that don't work, fast forwarding that doesn't work, think like the duplicated menus. Sometimes it just goes off to some random thing, like I'm trying to play a video and it opens a different file. It's just weird. So in any case, a not so quick, but quite extensive but long review of this device in case you're wondering and wanted to buy one. It may have a few redeeming qualities if you know what you're doing with this thing, but it's not worth a lot. So if you're gonna shop around for something like this and you can handle all these weirdnesses of the interface and the way it works, go for it. One thing I didn't mention, by the way, is the copy speed. CU. The copy speed on this thing is terrible. You put it into your computer, and it will take you a long time to copy things over. You can't make it go any faster by taking out that SD card. Maybe if you have your own SD card that's actually, this will read, but not with the stock one. Something is up with the ones that they give you. But if you have your own SD card that you know works, copy it onto that and stick it into this device, and hopefully it'll read it. But if you're using this one, it'll have problems using it directly on a computer. And if you use this device to copy over to stuff, it's extremely slow as a reader. So it'll take you hours to fill up. I mean, it took me 8 hours to drag over about 80 gigs of music that I had sitting in a folder. I dragged over, and 8 hours later, it finally copied. So that's ridiculously slow. But yeah, if you're willing to put up with all that, go for it. Buy one of these things and have fun. Okay? But there you have it. A video on the no-name, unbranded, basically completely wrong user manual for a device that looks different. No serial number, no model number device. Directly from the internet and wrongly shipped, either tried to scam me, or perhaps an honest mistake. But there you have it, an interesting portable device. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.